Que os clubes sul-americanos dão mais importância ao Mundial de Clubes do que os europeus, isso não é segredo para ninguém. No entanto, sempre fica aquela dúvida. Isso é apenas soberba dos europeus? Isso é uma lenda entre o povo aqui da América do Sul? Ou eles realmente não ligam? Você vai ver agora opiniões e explicações deles próprios, além de debates em programas esportivos sobre o que eles acham da competição.
Is there a more meaningless competition than the FIFA Club World Cup? I just don't see the point of it. Sid, they love it in Spain because Real Madrid win it every year.
Well, that is one way of putting it, yeah. I mean, look, in a way, this competition, all it really is, I mean, unless you get a surprise, which then becomes, of course, kind of a huge act of shame for those clubs that were beaten that are from Europe. Basically, it's just a way of underlining the European Cup again, isn't it? So you won the European Cup, oh, and here's like a little bit more. I'm not won over by it, I must admit. Don't like it.
Ian, you like it, don't you?
No, it's a horrible competition. I mean, there's too much football anyway. The clubs are too busy anyway. But there is a worse, more meaningless competition here in England called the Checker Trade Trophy.
Oh, what's that?
Yes. Yeah, well, don't go into it. We haven't got time.
Liverpool, the best team in the world.
I don't think you can argue with that, quite frankly. They have been, certainly in Europe, for some time. And it was a matter of pitting them against the best that the rest of the world had to offer. They've done that, they've overcome that, and they have the trophy and the title to prove it.
Liverpool never won this before.
No.
This team better than your lot, then?
If you say so.
You do not agree?
I'm not saying I wouldn't say that. Listen, it's impossible to say that. I was involved in one that we lost.
Right.
But the one that we lost, well, certainly the one I was involved in, and the one before that, were considered a break for us.
Okay, so this
wasn't taken seriously.
Yeah.
This team took this seriously.
This format worked though, didn't it? Like the Monterrey game was good, the Flamengo game was good. They were good matches.
Yeah, I think the games were good.
Yeah.
But it's just unfortunately they're playing it at the wrong time of the year. It's
Right.
busy, certainly for Liverpool.
Yeah.
No question. It's the busiest time, so it doesn't suit the Europeans. I don't
Now,
think.
the Club World Cup isn't really taken seriously by most fans of football, simply because it seems like a friendly tournament, given that it takes place in the middle of the European season and the dominance of European teams, largely down to economic disparity between European clubs and clubs from the rest of the world. Well, that's a major turnoff for some, as the scales aren't evenly balanced. Of the 15 tournaments that have been held, there has been a champion from UEFA 11 times, while a South American team has won it on 4 occasions. No other continent has had a champion, which removes the credibility of the tournament even more for some fans. And I mean, with South America being the only challenger to European dominance, they still don't even match up to European clubs that closely. Another reason as to why there's a lack of credibility is the fact that it's a tournament contested by just 7 teams, making it hard to get in, as it requires you to be a continental champion, but once you're in, as a European side especially, it's almost a guarantee that you'll be the champion. Keyword being almost, people, almost. Thus cheapening any sort of prestige that FIFA had hoped the tournament would have, because the European representative is almost nailed on to win the whole thing. Look at it this way. The UEFA Champions League is inarguably the toughest club tournament to win in the world. Compare the teams you have to go through in order to become the champions of that competition, and then compare that with the Club World Cup. There's a massive disparity in the competition there for European sides. Thus, the tournament hasn't really been taken seriously.
Do English fans care about the Club World Cup? The answer is yes, we do care about it, but not so much. Okay, and so I'm going to talk about why not. And I think the big reason is the priority. Our priority this season is the Premier League. And then probably after the Premier League is the Champions League. The Champions League is very important for Liverpool fans. And then after that is probably the FA Cup, to be honest, or the Club World Cup. I think it's similar. I think for the FA Cup, it's local bragging rights. It's the major tournament in the UK, and you can become the winners of that competition, so you have bragging rights over your local teams, so it's important for fans. The Club World Cup is not as important for fans because you're playing against the team on the other side of the world and you don't see those fans so much, so the bragging rights are not so important. So I know that Klopp and the players want to win this competition, but for the fans it's still not so important really. I remember watching Liverpool versus Sao Paulo, and I think the match was very one-sided. Liverpool dominated the match, but Sao Paulo won, and I think they won because of their desire and their commitment. They were hungry to win the match, so they won, and they were really proud about this. And I remember watching Liverpool versus Sao Paulo, and then when we lost, I was disappointed, but it wasn't a big deal for me. There will be no big celebrations if Liverpool win this competition. There will be no parade, but we want to win it. Why do South American fans care so much about this competition? I have taught Brazilian people, and they were very proud. I have taught Sao Paulo fans, they were very proud that Sao Paulo beat Liverpool. I have seen on social media people commenting about this. They are very excited, and it's a chance for them to play against a top team like Liverpool, the European champions. And I think they care so much because of a few reasons really. I think any South American team, they consider themselves as the underdogs. So they are not the favourites. I think in this competition, Liverpool are the favourites to win this competition. Like last year, Real Madrid were the favourites, and previous years Barcelona, etc. So the European teams are usually the favourites, and the South American teams are usually the underdogs because they don't have as much money as the European teams really. So I think it's a chance though for the South American teams to say, Europe, okay, you take our best players, but we can still beat you. Okay, you have lots of money, but we can still beat you. And they have done in the past lots of times. So I think and they feel very proud about this. I think for South American teams, and particularly Brazilian teams, it is a chance to be world champions. So these words, world champions, I think for Brazil is very important. I think Brazil is a huge country with amazing people and lots of positive things, but I think it isn't always recognized as a powerful country in the world. So to say that your team is the world champions is very proud for a lot of Brazilian people, I think. So when Liverpool lost in 2005, and I said, but we didn't care about that competition. It's not true. I think the players wanted, and Rafa Benitez, Steven Gerrard wanted to win that competition. So maybe I'm just being salty. I'm a sore loser. So I should be, or fans should be gracious. They should be, okay, you're the better team, well done. You should be gracious if you lose a football match.
Bom, fica bem evidente que o atual formato do Mundial não é atrativo para os europeus, sobretudo os ingleses. Há anos, a FIFA vem discutindo uma reformulação no torneio, para quem sabe aumentar o prestígio da competição. Mas é fato que enquanto houver uma disparidade entre os clubes europeus para o resto do mundo, o título de campeão mundial acaba sendo mais simbólico do que real. Isso em nada diminui os feitos dos clubes brasileiros que conquistaram o mundo. Muito pelo contrário, cada vez que disputamos esse torneio é uma oportunidade para mostrar que ainda conseguimos bater de frente, apesar disso estar se tornando cada vez mais difícil. Mas e aí, curtiu o vídeo? Então deixa o like e fala aí qual é a sua ideia para poder melhorar o Mundial de Clubes para os próximos anos. Um abraço!